Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of our podcast, Far From Accurate. I'm Morgan, and I'm joined by Molly and Heidi. We're going to be talking all things SBFL.
Hi, I'm Molly. I'm a Hearts fan, and this is our new space for our opinions.
Hi, I'm Heidi. I'm a Celtic fan. I'm 18, and this is where we're going to talk about Scottish football and all the action from this weekend.
I mean, I didn't really do a good job at introducing myself. I'm Morgan, I'm a Hibs fan.
No, that is perfect. Well, I feel like the obvious place for us to start, Heidi, it would be with yourself.
Oh my god. Right.
What happened?
What happened? Okay, so the first half we started better than Rangers. Rangers looked so vulnerable. They couldn't get past us. We started really well, and then we go 1-0 up. Yang scores a fantastic goal for 20 yards. I thought, right, here we go. And then I thought, we're 1-0 up, 1-0 up. And I thought, right, maybe we could go in and get something. Then Rangers scored, but then it was offside in the last. And about the end of half time, Mikey Moore scored, but it was offside anyway. Trinity was offside. And then I thought, right, I just had a feeling that Rangers would get back into the game. I had a real feeling because every time in second halves, we don't turn up. Like we done it against Hearts at home, Wilfred Nancy's first game, Dundee United as well. So I'm like, I just didn't have a confidence we were going to get back into it, and we didn't. Wilfred, the three at the back we play has never worked. It never will work. The manager is too stubborn to fix it. Like he doesn't want to fix it. I'm like, you have to fix it. If you're like a professional manager, you need to ask what's wrong. The players are not suited it. Second half, we just got bullied. Absolute bullied off the park. I mean, Casper Schmeichel for I think it was a second goal or something. No, third goal. What was he doing? Like he was in eight. Like he just would look nowhere. And then Alison Trusty was a mistake for one of the goals as well. Like it was defensive and goalie errors that cost us. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like Rangers just looked so much better second half. Danny Rowe made changes, knew what he wanted to do. We just didn't turn up on the day, and that was it. Like we were just awful, like dreadful. Like no, really, the only player that would get a pass mark from you is probably Yang. Like Rangers were so good. Like Trinity, I thought was good. Like they all just kind of. Jack Butland made a few saves, kept him in it. And I just felt they were better and they deserved the 3 points. We didn't, and Wilfred Nancy is Celtic fans are wanting him out, and clearly they have every right. I think you lose 6 games out of 8. That can't happen as a Celtic manager. You just can't. I don't think he's got Celtic calibre in him. Like he doesn't realise how big the club is, how big the support is. He doesn't get it. Like yesterday, he walked in the tunnel and just walked in the tunnel and never done said clap the fans, never done anything. He just walked them straight the tunnel. Like that just shows me a sign you're just not it. And he always like comes out and he's press conferences after the game just saying the same old excuses like I seen good things, but you can't play. You can't just play good for 45 minutes. You need to play good for 90 minutes. You can't. And form like goes out in these derbies, like obviously, but at the end of the day we just did not turn up. I felt we would lose, but then I had a feeling we went on up, we might like win it, but we just didn't. It just didn't happen for us. It just didn't at all. We were just dread awful. And the manager, I honestly think he should go. But the problem, the board will not sack him because the board will realise we can't make another mistake again. Like they won't admit it, so they won't sack him. That's what a lot of fans are saying. Like they won't sack him. But if this keeps continuing, like Parkhead's going to be a not great place to go. And on Saturday we play Dundee United at home, and honestly, there was riots outside the stadium yesterday. Like all the fans shouting, like giving abuse, whatever. And I think if it keeps going, it could be another Russell Martin for Celtic. Then it's not great at all. It needs to change, but I don't see him changing the formation. He's too stubborn. Like he's far too
Yeah.
stubborn. Like he doesn't know like what it means, and I'm just even the Motherwell game, Motherwell outplayed us that game, like outplayed us. Like the thing is, we can't take our chances either. Like in that first half, we should have been at least 4-0 up. Johnny Kenny, who just cannot score. But the thing is, we had them players with Martin O'Neill won 7 out of 8 games. So it tells you something that it's something to do either the manager or the players not used to sit in his formation. I know you're a new manager, you want to come and use your formation, but you can't. the players are no used to it. The players are no used to a free back. We're always a four at the back team. We're always been like that since probably Rodgers, right? We've always been like that. We've never played a free back. We only played a free back like 20 years ago, right? But that's different. This is, you know what I mean? It's like you can't. It doesn't work with us. This squad doesn't work. We need a lot of new players, especially up top. New goalie as well. I think Casper Schmeichel's just done. I think that's his career's finished for him. He's just not got it in him anymore than he used to have. A lot of the players, I think, a new right back as well. Anthony Allison just doesn't cut it for me. He's just not the best anymore. I think there's a lot we need to improve a lot in our game if we want to win big games. But we've got huge tests coming up. Like I'm sure we've got Dundee United, then we're like away to Falkirk. So and then we're away to use on the 25th. So we need to buck up our ideas or we're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a disappointing result for Celtic. I did watch a bit of the game before I headed off to Kilmarnock. The first half was a Celtic domination. I think you should have been a couple more goals up. Rangers had a few chances, don't get me wrong, but it was mostly Celtic. And I'm looking at the stats for the whole game. You had 65% of the ball, and even in the second half, you had most of the ball. You had 69% of the ball in the second half.
The
However,
thing is,
Rangers managed to get 3 goals.
yeah, the thing is, you can still have loads of possession and still lose 3-0. It happens.
Exactly.
It just you can say, oh, this team had 80% possession, but then you can still lose 3-0. Like possession doesn't really get you anywhere. But as I said before, if you have that amount of possession, you still need to use it.
Exactly. I'm using all the stats of FOTMob. So like, if these are wrong, don't kill me. Kill FOTMob. You've actually on FOTMob, you've had the same amount of expected goals as well.
Yeah.
So was there?
It was such a weird game to watch. I think, I mean, Morgan, you might see it sort of the same as I do, looking almost outside into it. It was so scrappy.
Yeah.
Neither teams were like what we've watched before. It was just.
It was so open.
It isn't Celtic and it isn't Rangers either. And I mean, like, you can say what you want. Obviously, Danny Rowe coming in and taking them away from the Russell Martin disaster. He's done a good job.
He's lost one league game.
I know.
He isn't playing good, attractive football, but he's getting results, and that's what matters.
Yeah. It just, like, Danny Rowe, since he came in, he's taken him to a whole new level, but it's still not what we're used to seeing.
Oh, definitely.
I'm shocked that they've managed to catch up. I mean, they're now joint second in the league.
The thing is, if they beat Aberdeen on Tuesday, they go second, and we're in third. So
that's not what I think I've ever seen Celtic before.
I know, it's a shock
the only
because
bad bit I seen with Celtic was COVID.
I mean, it is a shock because Rangers looked so far out of it. I mean, from a Hearts perspective, when this whole like sort of title race was between you and Celtic, there was that narrative of Rangers are never going to get back in it. Like you saw it everywhere because everyone had written Rangers so far off. And now I actually think if anyone's overtaken Hearts, I think it's going to be Rangers. Not because they're particularly better than Celtic, because they can get these results. Danny Rowe, one of his early interviews, I heard him say, I don't care about playing attractive football, that'll come, we need to win games first. And that's what he's doing. He's doing as he set out in these early interviews, so he is doing his job.
100%. He's got the right idea behind them. I mean, results speak for themselves at that point. You know, you're going out there, you're beating teams every week. He's doing nothing wrong since he came in.
It's the bare minimum, you know, like. It was like, see, when we had Martin O'Neill for interim charge for a few months, he says, I'm coming here to win games. He done it. He lost one game. It was in Europe. Like, we are crap anyway. It doesn't matter what manager we have. But it was one game. We lost all our games. Won all our games in the league. That's all I wanted. And we done that. And we even bet Rangers in a semi-final.
I know, and the game you lost was to Midtjylland, right? Midtjylland's an amazing sign. They've only strengthened since we played them, and even that Midtjylland was a strong side. They're sitting, I don't even know, they're sitting really high up in the Europa League. They're a great side, Midtjylland.
Yeah.
So I don't even think you can say anything about losing to them from a O'Neill perspective.
We were just terrible anyway. It didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think the issue is not just in the park. I watched, whose vlog was it? Spider Taylor's vlog, and just the
Yeah.
atmosphere inside Parkhead, it was so negative and so toxic. The fans were
Uh-huh.
leaving early, it was constant booing, nobody's happy, no one's content, there was all those protests. There's just such a negative vibe around the club.
Yeah. There is so
No.
negative vibe. I mean, everyone sacked the board, get Nancy out. Like yesterday, all the fans were crowded round, booing everybody. Fans were
Yeah.
leaving at like the 80th minute. Like fans had enough. They've seen enough,
I
and
don't
like
think I've
fans who pay their
ever.
hard-earned money and see
Yeah, I
that. I
don't
mean,
think
it's
I've
not great.
ever seen fans walking out of Celtic Park. I really don't think I have. You're.
I know, like, especially in an old firm, like, you could maybe
Yeah.
see them leaving early in the odd week, but an old firm, people are staying till the full time whistle. A derby game's one of those things that's like, oh, you think anything can happen? I mean, look at the Edinburgh derby, like, you've got 2 goals in the last 15, like, anything can happen in a derby game.
Yeah.
Fans don't typically leave so early in such a high stakes game.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely. I mean, you look at the second derby of the weekend as well, the Dundee derby that happened.
Mhm.
I've got nothing to take away from that game. I thought it was actually quite a good game, to be fair. Watching highlights back to it,
Yeah, I
the
think
ball,
Dundee.
the
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the ball that was put through for the goal was just unreal. I had no idea what he was doing.
I know, it's really. Dundee have actually, things have been going Dundee's way. They've really got out of this. I mean, everyone at the start of the season were writing them off for relegation, but they've went up to 9th place. They have 3 teams below them. They're 4 points clear of St Mirren, 9 points clear of Kilmarnock now. But actually, St Mirren have 2 games in hand, so.
No, I know. I'm trying to think who St Mirren's games in hand are against. I know
Well,
one
one
of
of
them.
them,
They
I'm
have
sure they
Liv-
play Livingston on Tuesday.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
they've
one
got
of them's
Livy on
us as
Tuesday.
well.
Livingston on Tuesday, and then use a week on Wednesday.
Yeah, because that was from the final weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we've grabbed our game in hand from. But no, I think when you're looking at like the goals from the weekend and stuff like that as well,
Mm-hmm.
there's some things that are coming out of this now. I've got to hand it to him though, and I'll say this forever: that Motherwell manager has turned
Oh
it
my
around
god.
for them massively.
Oh yeah.
That he's in contention manager of the season so far.
Yep.
How good is Motherwell? Like, they haven't been getting every single result, but the football they play, right?
I think
I
you're
can.
the only team out of us three that have beat Motherwell this season.
We
We've
haven't
drew
beat
twice.
Motherwell.
We haven't either. We lost to them,
No,
and
No,
then
you
we
beat them
did
3
beat
2 at
them. We did
Parkhead.
beat them. We beat them at Parkhead, but it was close. I mean, they could
uh,
have beat us. They would deserved a point for that. Genuinely,
Yeah,
they did.
what was it? 3-2.
3-2 to Celtic. I was at it as well, and yeah, Maeda
yeah,
scored last minute to equalise for the win. But I mean, it was the on Tuesday when we played them, we were awful. Motherwell were so good. That Elijah Just, what a player. Same with that Elliot Watt. They are brilliant players. They've got a squad
yeah,
there that can show how to score goals. They play great football. Like, I watched them against St Mirren yesterday. They were really good. St Mirren just look dreadful. Like, they didn't look good at all, and it's weird because St Mirren going a high winning a cup, you know what I mean, and then picked up results, and then all of a sudden it's just went down a slope. But Motherwell manager, I rate him really highly.
yeah.
Oh, I
No,
know.
absolutely. He's turning their entire season around from what you expected them to be able to provide compared to what they have. I mean, they were sitting pretty in third for so long. They're, I think, is it 3 or 4 points off of third now?
Yeah,
Might be
they're
looking
sitting
in the
fourth
pick.
now.
They're actually only 2 points behind Celtic and
Is it two?
Rangers.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean they've kept a tight game up all season, and I think they're one that a lot of people forget where they are just now as well. And played they have played incredibly. I mean we've drew to them twice. They should have won that first game. I have no idea how we came back.
Oh, I remember that. That feels like ages ago
Yeah,
now.
It
But
was
I didn't watch.
insane.
I didn't watch any of it. But I remember I was like on the bus. I think I had like got my nails done or something, and like it was 3-0 Hearts. So I like went to go wind up my friend who's a Hearts fan, be like enjoying the game, and then he didn't mess me back till like it was 3-3, and it was like yeah, and I was like, how did you get a free
Yeah.
free? And I was speaking to my dad about it, and he was just going on about how Motherwell just dominated for so long.
Oh, absolutely. It was insane game to be at, to be honest. It was, we're sitting there, we're getting beat 3-0. I'm like, there's times like that when you want to leave. And I was like, this just, I don't know if I can sit here and watch this. I really don't. My dad was like, I always go to football. My dad was sitting next to me. He was like, no, just hold out, just hold out. I was like, oh, right, okay. It was 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, and the whole place just erupted on that third goal. It was incredible. But they are just they're such a strong side just now. We drew 0-0 to them away. Just was it last month or is it the end of November? Sometime around then. But it was.
That's actually a good point to get though.
Oh, it was. It was definitely a good point to get. That's some stadium to get to as well.
Just I know, it's a trek.
Pointing that into there, but oh my goodness.
It is a trek actually, because it's ages from the train station.
Oh god, it'd be like Livingston.
Livingston's so good for parking, I think.
It is. We've never done it before until this season, and then I was like, I will never get the train through there ever again. But on to next game of the weekend. Where do we head into? We go to you, Morgan.
Oh yeah. So obviously we were away to Kilmarnock. It was a weird one. Obviously Kilmarnock are in such bad form, so you're like silently hoping that you're like, okay, we should get a win here, but you never know. We obviously came off the back of 2 wins on the bounce, so you're like, can we make it 3, a 9-point week? And we did. We managed to do it. We got in. First 5 minutes, we got a goal. In the first half, I think we were really good. We probably should have tried to get another one to kill the game early. We had a lot of chances that we didn't take advantage of. Into the second half, Kilmarnock start to play a lot better, and we make 2 defensive changes. But as soon as we make the defensive changes, Kelly go and score. Like, I don't know why we always do this, where we try and change it up defensively, but then we play worse defensively. But in this point, I think Hibs went into a bit of a panic mode, and there was quite a stage where we just weren't playing to the standard we should have been playing, especially against Kilmarnock, a side that has been struggling. But then we did eventually start getting into it. I think Barlasser was great. Grant Hanley was having a good game. And we eventually got into it. It was Yuan that scored a brace. I don't think Yuan's all-round game was particularly great, but when your striker's getting a brace, what more can you say? His job's to score goals, and that's what he's doing. Yeah, it's frustrating that he isn't having a good all-round impact, but he got a brace, so what more can you say? I know there was some Kelly penalty shouts, but I can't lie, the sun was blinding my eye, and it was down the other side of the pitch, so I haven't got the clearest view. I haven't watched the highlights yet, to be honest with you, but I know it was a wee bit controversial. We obviously got a late on penalty, which Jamie McGrath gets taken down the box. Like, I think it's pretty. It's not a controversial decision. I don't even know if they barred it. I think it was given almost instantly. There wasn't a long check or anything. I don't think much controversy there. He takes a penalty, scores, and that's his 3-1 up. And at that point, Kelly's hopes were pretty much over.
Yeah, no, I've watched the highlights back. I think the first 2 goals were really good. The wee flick through the middle for Yuan on the first goal was brilliant. I think he should have scored again. That opportunity he had, was it McGrath that passed the ball through? There was
quite a few that you're sort of, he could have scored there. Even though he had these frustrating moments, you feel bad criticising him too much when he does get a brace. So it's one of those things.
No, absolutely. But I think the opportunity he missed, McGrath in the middle of the box, he passed it through. No idea how he found his feet on that one. That was insane bit of skill. But I think that one probably should have gone in. He went just way to the left. But
Jamie McGrath was also excellent. Mulligan's just really consistent. Like, he's been quite a standout. But McGrath and Mulligan are really good. I've obviously seen like a bit of transfer talk about the potential of Mulligan leaving, which I just think it'd be such a massive miss, and I don't think we're getting anyone to his standards to replace him quickly. So I think that would be like a massive miss. It could have a real long-term impact on our season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Heidi, did you watch the highlights for that one?
Kelly Hibs, yeah, I just felt like Kelly, I mean, Hibs kind of were obviously a wee bit dodgy at times, but Hibs got the 3 points. I think that was the main thing. Kilmarnock are so poor, like what's happened to them? 11th in the table, they've not got a manager in, they're absolute mess. I mean, and obviously the red card, I mean, to be fair, it is what it is. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if it was a red or not, to be fair, but if it was a red, fair enough, you know what I mean? It was just a bad day at office for Kelly. Nothing was really, they did score, equalised to make it 1-1, I thought, oh, but then Hibs go and just score another couple of goals and finish the game off. I thought Hibs were quite quite good, to be fair. And obviously a lot of folk have criticised that Eli Yuan, but if he's scoring 2 goals, you can't really say much if he's picking back up form again. And obviously McGrath scores a penalty, but Kelly just look all over the place at the minute. They haven't won in God knows how long, and they're just at that stage of the season where could they potentially go down along with Livingston.
The last time Kilmarnock won was the 4th of October, which was 2-0 against St Mirren.
Wow.
It's been
That's
a
a real
long
run.
time. Since then, they've picked up 3 points. 1 against Dundee United, 1 against Hearts, and 1 against St Mirren.
Wow.
That statistic.
But it's just not going well there. You kind of got the vibe from the fans. It wasn't like insanely toxic, but you could see how frustrated and impatient the Kelly fans were, because it's been a rough time for them. And it's hard to see when you're on that losing streak, even in moments where they looked like, there was a part of that game where they looked like the better side, and they even looked like they could go and get a second and score the winner there. But I feel like when that momentum's not going your way, your players don't have it in you the same way. Hearts have had so many bounce back results this season because that momentum's going their way. Their players are finding it in them because they're on this momentum. Football is all about momentum at times, and Kelly just have none to make the most of that opportunity where they could have profited off us. I do think Hibs were the deserved winners by the end of the game, but there was moments that I think we easily could have Hibsed it.
No, there's always going to be moments like that though, I think, and it's just, you wonder if Kilmarnock will find their feet at the end of this. They need a new manager in as soon as possible. I've seen the statement that they'd put out sort of in terms of it. I know a few of the fans were getting a bit frustrated at how long it was taking them to find a new manager, and obviously Stuart Kettlewell's found his new job in the time that it's taken him to find a new manager. So it is, I can see their frustration on it, but you also see the point of the club as well, trying to bring someone in who can actually make the difference and can make that impact. But yeah, you wonder who they'll end up getting at the end of it. I've not seen sort of any names in the run-in for it yet, but
I did see that Robbie Nielsen was in the run for it.
Robbie Nielsen was in for it. I think he'd do good in that job, to be fair.
I've heard a lot of it. I've heard that a couple of times.
Yeah. Now he knows his way around Scottish football. He can make something out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm looking at who Kilmarnock has coming up, and they're away to Livingston, which will be a really interesting one. Both struggling sides. Then they have the Scottish Cup game, but then after that they're away to Motherwell, which is an awful game to get when you're in such a state. Then they're home to Aberdeen. Can go either way. Depends how Aberdeen do in their next few games. And then they're away to Rangers. So
I think on that point as well, when you're saying about sort of Livingston and stuff like that being that bottom of the table fight, when we played Livingston yesterday, in terms of Livingston sort of seeing when we played them yesterday, it was, I don't know who I was watching. That's not bottom of this. That wasn't bottom of the league football. They had a very decent run yesterday, and second half we were so disappointing compared to how we've been playing recently. It was.
I think as well in that first half, the chances you just missed were ridiculous. You should have been a lot more goals up than you should have.
Yeah, I mean, the first half easily could have been 3-4-0. Thomas Magnuson had one of the best chances in the game, and cross in and
I've seen that.
If he could just angle himself ever so slightly more to the right, it would have been in. He hits it and it's just wide of the left post.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a brutal watch, but to be fair, our new signing at right back, I'm so excited for this one. This is something that we have needed for so long now. And it was just a desperation for us getting someone in at right back. And I think he's going to make a massive impact and assist in his first game. Another Craig Halkett header, of course, in there.
Saw that. I'd heard a lot of things about how it was sort of all Hearts in the first half, how you should have been more up, and just how Livingston came into it in the second half. Which, when you're a Livingston fan, you've got to be really frustrated that you don't profit off of that. They're in a state of being desperate for points. They're obviously going to play top of the league Hearts away. They're not going to have much expectations, but when that opportunity arises, it's going to be frustrating that they couldn't profit at all out of it.
Yeah.
In this instance, not taking your chances, you've managed to continue, get all 3 points, which is a massive positive. But I think it's one of those things where the fall off in the second half, I've seen it with Hibs and loads of other teams, you got away with it in this instance, but it can be so dangerous. You could start the game absolutely brilliant, but then when you're not keeping it up, it gets so dangerous, and it could have
Yeah,
totally
no.
came back to bite you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they had a last ditch effort deep into added time that you're just sitting watching it going, please no, please
I know,
no.
it's terrifying.
1-0, it's not enough, and I know it is enough, but it's not. Not when you've got the full rest of the second half to go, injury time, rest of the first half. I mean, we scored in 18 minutes. You're
Yeah,
talking so much time left of football. I can't do the maths that quickly. Was it 65 minutes technically?
yeah,
Along
but
the lines
it's
of
like
that. But yeah, it's a long time still to go, and you're just
definitely.
you can't sit comfortable at 1-0.
I know.
Nah, you can't.
You
You've
can
seen it.
never be too certain with football. That's why you need to kill games when you have the chance, or it comes back to bite you.
Absolutely. I think we did have I'm not saying it was a bad game of football or anything like that by any means, because that's still where we are in the league, and there's a reason that we are there. And
Mm-hmm.
good games of football. It's good skill overall within the team. It's management. It's the players. It's the coaching staff. Everyone involved in it has put in so much effort to get us to where we are. If someone had said this to me this time last year, we were sitting second bottom, I would have laughed in their face. It was never going to happen like this, and we are where we are now. Whether it continues or not, different story. But
I think the thing is, even when Hearts haven't had their greatest game of football, they've pushed through and got results. At times, like yesterday's, they didn't play too great, but you secured 3 points, despite falling off in the second half. Also, like games like Motherwell that we mentioned earlier, you're 3-0 down and you managed to see it out to get a point. Maybe the point isn't like the biggest thing in the world, but at the end of the day, it keeps that momentum going, helping you therefore get 3 points in future games. There'll be when you're sitting top of the league, a big thing. It isn't even always about playing good football, and I think Rangers is an example of this. It's about making sure you get results when you're not playing so good football. Because you can have your games where you're comfortably winning like 2-3-0 and it's a great performance. But you also you're going to have off days. And I think the real way that you're actually ever going to win the league is on those off days, you can still get 3 points or even 1 point.
No, absolutely. It is about keeping up what you're providing so far for the season. Just whatever you can get out of it, you get out of it, and that's it.
And I think managing to get those 3 points, I know you won't want to mention this, but after the Derby loss, it's one of those things, you just gave your everything to try and come back, but it wasn't enough. It'll be a really low blow on the players because that game would have meant so much to the fans and everyone in Tynecastle, right? So I think coming off the back of such a frustrating loss, the players might have been getting it a bit tight from because you know how some fans can get the second you lose something. Yeah. It's a positive sign for yous that yous are able to go from this game, maybe not play your best football, but still manage to get your 3 points and bounce back from it.
No, absolutely, 100%. We're next game we've got Dundee away on Sunday. I think that's another. We keep saying it the next 2 games are so important, the next 3 games are so important, but I think at this point in the league, you're coming off the back of a Derby Day loss, which is never what anyone wants, but it's where we are and we have to accept it and we move on from that, and it is the bounce back of that. 3 points at home to Livingston, not the best game, 3 points at the end of the day, we're through it. Dundee away is going to be a massive one for us as well. I mean, I'm sure it was the first time in 11 years they've won 3 games in a row. Madness. But I think obviously looking back to the start of the season, everyone said first manager to go this season, Stephen Presley. Just the way that he acted in the interviews and stuff like that. I don't think he's done anything wrong. He hasn't. Massive results.
He hasn't been amazing, right? And see, first game of the season when I watched them, I was up at Dens with Hibs. They didn't look great, and I was like, yeah, I can see this being a relegation side. And do you know what? They haven't been amazing, but they've exceeded expectations. Everyone was like, yeah, they're definitely relegated. Them and Livy are 100% down. But they aren't 100% down. They're showing fight. They've got a derby win. The fans are going to be happy with that. Probably this season is one of their main objectives for the fans would have been staying up comfortably, and then when you're getting a derby win, that's obviously one of the best feelings you can get.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. I think as well. Obviously, we're off the back of a derby loss, which isn't the best, but I kind of expected to lose the game. I think the league this season has probably been the best it's been in a while
Yeah,
because it's so open for anybody to win that league. It's generally so open. Like
yeah,
anybody
It's
could win the league
insane.
this season.
absolutely. And I think on that part as well, another team to sort of mention when you're saying about sort of people who could win it, and you look at last season, it was Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm.
But Aberdeen were in it for sort of majority of the first, we'll say, third of the season,
Yeah,
and
Mm-hmm.
had
up
that
until
massive.
up until October, November, I'm pretty sure from
Yeah,
memory.
but I
Yeah.
think you wonder now if it's getting to a point where they're hanging on to their manager based on the Scottish
Mm-hmm.
Cup win last season.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think as well. I think he could be under pressure, Jimmy
I
Tilleen.
think he is.
Yeah, I think he is a bit under it. I think as well. Obviously, the cup win has helped him, and then he's came out. The season started really badly for him. They were sitting near the bottom. They were
Yeah.
not picking up anything. They started off a bit better. I think they're like seventh or something in the league just now, maybe a couple points off Falkirk. But honestly, they're just not great. Like they've got no bad players in that squad. They're not showing what they can do, and I think the manager, if he keeps continuing to pick up losses, maybe Tilleen might be out the door. He can maybe
Yes,
be the first one out the door. It just depends.
looking at stuff, Falkirk
Mm-hmm.
v Aberdeen actually was a massive game. The two
Mm-hmm.
teams were a point or two apart before this, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Falkirk, from what I know and heard of the game, I didn't sit and watch the whole game. I've seen some highlights, read some stuff about it, but I've heard that the scoreline 1-0 just doesn't do them justice, and it was almost like a bit of a Falkirk domination. Sounded like they
Mm-hmm.
were the
I
much
did
better
watch it,
team.
and Falkirk were very good. Like they kind of dominated most of the game. Falkirk.
Falkirk do have quality.
Mm-hmm. They do.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think they're a write off at all for even top six. I said this before the season started. I'd given my predictions just between a friend group, and I'd said Falkirk. I reckon they'll be ones to watch. I'd say sixth place, but
Mm-hmm.
they're definitely not a write off for it at all. I think the way that John McGlynn's got them playing as well is
Mm-hmm.
amazing for what they have sort of progressed
Yeah.
from in the last few years.
Especially even starting off in League One, then getting promoted
Yeah.
and coming from the Championship, they're not just being like Livy and just getting relegated. They've actually been a team that's want to stay in the league and prove why they're in this league for a reason. They've proved
You
that.
know, I like having them in the league apart from the fact they give no away end allocation. So see if they can
Yeah.
improve their allocation, then stay in the league forever. I don't care. Just please give us
Yeah.
more seats. Ideal away day for me.
But I think
But
in terms of even Falkirk as well, you wonder how they're gonna sort of cope with the changes that are coming next season. Obviously, they're gonna have to rip up their pitch at the end of the season,
Mm-hmm.
get
I
a new
know.
pitch out of the artificial ones now. You wonder if that's going to have an impact on them at all in the way that they play if they're not used to sort of playing on that week in, week out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think actually I don't mind Falkirk's pitch as much as other pitches, and I don't even mind Livy's pitch as much. Kilmarnock's pitch is an actual
Oh,
eyesore,
Killer's
right?
pitch is
Yuck.
horrendous.
But it's not even just the actual pitch; it just looks horrendous. Looking at it is actually painful.
I think they might be all right in terms of the pitch, but it might be a bit interesting when they have to play there on grass all the time.
Yeah.
And obviously we were saying about Kilmarnock there as well, and sort of their
Oh, I was
pitch.
going
Can't
on
wait
a
for that
tangent.
one. Can't
I
wait
know.
for that one to get changed. But no, I think that brings us on to kind of what other games did we have? Was that us on everything?
Motherwell v St Mirren. We touched on
it.
Motherwell briefly, but
Yeah, let's go into that game. I think that sort of watching the highlights back, definitely had some good chances in there. Like we said, sort of shock
Yeah.
of the season as well in terms of what they've been able to achieve so far. St Mirren, I think that wasn't a fair reflection on what they can produce. To be honest, I think they're a lot better than what they had got
Yeah.
from that game.
Yeah, 100%. I think obviously they'd be after the high cup final win. You know, they can do You know, they can do good stuff. Like, I don't know why they just can't show that, like in certain games where they just, obviously it's Motherwell, you get Motherwell's a good side, but I mean, it's just been a bit, you know, they have picked wins here and there. I think they drew with Kelly, which was quite poor, they're 0-0, and then they bet Livy 1-0, but I just think they're up and down. Obviously, you can't. Stephen Robson's done a fantastic job at St Mirren. With the resources they've got, consecutive top sixes, you know, that's them fans maybe expecting that sometimes, but sometimes that won't happen. But I just think with the way the game folded out, I thought Motherwell were very good yesterday, set up really well, and the manager of Motherwell, as I said, give him credit, because if him or Derek McInnes could be up for manager of the season for me. Um, the
Yeah, I
way
agree on
obviously
that.
he's turned round Motherwell, you know, obviously when Kettlewell, I think he left, they did leave, yeah, he left because obviously certain things were going on. They brought in this new manager, the new manager, they thought, oh, maybe, you know, not sure because he's obviously foreign, he's come from somewhere else. He's turned that around massively, you know. Obviously, the unknown always ends up a surprise. Sometimes, obviously, with Celtic, with Postecoglou, we brought him in and it just turned it around. But this guy, Nancy Sahun, it just hasn't worked for us, bringing a new guy. Like, that's what I mean. Could, as I said before, as I said about Kelly, could they do what like Aberdeen and Motherwell did and bring in like a kind of foreign Scandinavian manager that no one's ever heard of? But obviously Kelly's looking more just kind of someone that knows the league, which is fair enough. You know, you have to have somebody that understands this league, understands the meaning. I think if Robbie Nielsen does end up being their manager, I think it'll be a really good step up, because he's done really, really well at Hearts. Did he not finish third with yous?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot and going back a few years. Yes,
Yeah,
I believe so.
yeah, I think he done quite good at Hearts, and obviously, like, you know, he knows the league as well. You know, he knows what he's talking
Yeah.
about. You know, he knows what he's doing. He's championship experience and Premiership. So if they do go down to the Championship, he does have experience down there. So I think if they do get him, it's a decent appointment. It's a not bad appointment. Because I know there was names maybe like Stephen Naismith, but obviously at Hearts, you know, his first spell at Hearts, Naismith done good, and then obviously his second spell was an absolute disaster, and then they got sacked, and then he's brought in Critchley, and then it just went down the hill.
Yeah, no, absolutely it was. It was a bit of an interesting one. It was all in one spell, but just split across 2 seasons. It was just had a great
Yeah.
first season, finished third with Naismith as well, and you know we had absolutely no faults against him. But just when he came in at the start of last season, it wasn't what we expected.
Mhm.
And sort of circling back to St Mirren there as well, I think in terms of what they've been able to produce so far this season, I know a couple of St Mirren fans, and they have said
Yeah.
kind of the same thing. With under Stephen Robinson, it's been amazing for them, but there's just
Mhm.
seems to be this situation within their team at the moment where they're
Mhm.
to struggling to produce results. I think they've had a few decisions that have been given against them as well in terms of VAR that are a bit
Yeah,
sort of
yeah, I'm sure, was it not
controversial.
against Hughes or something? They should have had a goal and it got cancelled off.
Yeah, I
Is
think they've
that
had a few. They've had a few
then
of them now. There's some mental statistic out there that I wish I could pull out of thin air, but I can't.
They've
Um,
had a
but
crazy amount of offsides.
it's been mental.
yes,
They scored like
it's
twice
just
against us and both were offside.
yeah. I think there is a lot of sort of controversy around that just now as well, where people are debating whether they are offside. I know they had this weird little thing that they done against us that they seem to be getting called out for at the moment in terms of how they're playing and how they're pushing the ball up the pitch and
Mhm.
getting goals out of it. I
Yeah,
think they've sort of been found out a little bit, but
yeah.
I don't know. That it is a bit of a funny one with St Mirren. I think they'll be back on it winning ways, no bother. They're more than capable of doing so.
Yeah, hopefully they
Definitely.
can obviously pick back up again. Obviously, they've got Livingston on Tuesday night away, which obviously the set for is not an easy ground to go to sometimes. Like, it wasn't easy for us last weekend. They
Yeah.
scored 2 goals against us. Like, it was embarrassing how a team who hasn't won in like what 17 games is scoring like 2 goals against us. Says a lot about our defense mistakes and how our system doesn't work. But Livingston do sometimes do all right, but then it just goes disaster for them. And obviously, could that be maybe Martindale? Could they get the sack, or are they going to think, nah, who are we going to bring in? You know what I mean? Is there somebody that's going to do better? You know, they're not the
Yeah.
biggest club in the world. You know what I mean?
No, I've been on that little bit of a run for a while as well in terms of Martindale. I like him as a manager. I think he's a very good person as well. In terms of, you look into his history, not only with the club but personally as well, and I think the way that he's turned himself around too, I think he's a very, very
100%.
respectable person. But you wonder if he is maybe. I mean, they've not won a game since August. You wonder if he's out the door now. It's not the answer for Livingston, but
No.
for a club like Livingston, who do you bring in?
Yeah.
It's such a weird one because I do feel like some of the Livingston fans just have so much faith in him and they're holding on to the promotion and all this, but you can't look at all the positives he's done for the club. It is sort of look at the here and now. You've gone so long without a win. Is he the man for the job, or can you find better? But you don't want to sack him and then have the issue that Kelly's having. They just can't seem to get someone in quick enough.
Yeah, I agree with that.
No,
it's a good point, actually.
You don't want to be managerless. I feel like this is when this I feel like there will be just more panic and negative energy. Obviously, sitting bottom of the league, it's difficult for them to be very positive, but I just feel like it could make things even worse if that's possible. But I guess it's a weird one. They're sitting 4 points away from Kilmarnock, which, I mean, and they have a game in hand over Kilmarnock. So if you act soon, you could argue there is something they could do to even get out of straight relegation and into a playoff spot. It's a difficult situation.
It is a difficult situation for them, and I feel like it is, again, I don't think it's a fair reflection of their performance this season either. I think there's some games where you're looking at them thinking they could get something out of this, but they're not pushing far enough in the end.
No.
And it's disappointing to watch. I like Livingston. They're a good side, and I love a Livingston away day as well. I'm very accustomed to going through there for an away day. I don't want them to ever go down because I want my away day to stay. It's great, but I think just when you're looking at the club just now, there's got to be something that they can bring in or something that they can do to just turn this around for them. I think they deserve it. They're one of these teams. I always say there's like a mini league in between the Premiership and the Championship, where just some of these teams they've got like a wee bubble where they're too good to be in the Championship and not good enough to be in the Premiership, and Livingston fall right into that for me.
Yeah.
It's been an inconsistent few years for them. They have been a bit all over the place. But really just in between Championship, Premiership.
Absolutely. And I think along with Livingston as well, I always see the likes of St Johnstone fall into there for me. Ross County normally fall into there for me, although they're not having the best of seasons.
They're miles off it.
They're god awful. What's happened to them? I
know. There's another situation there as well where you're kind of looking at it. However, I'm going to pause you there for just a wee second because we might have live breaking news going on, which won't be live by the time.
Is it about a Celtic manager?
It, in fact, is not.
Oh.
Kelly? We have a managerial sack live on the podcast. Who do we think it is?
Wait, who?
Who do we think it is?
Martindale.
Nope. We've spoken about him.
Jimmy boy.
Jimmy Tilly left Aberdeen.
No.
Oh my god, I'm shocked.
We have a live sacking on the podcast, which
oh my god.
At time of
recording, I was not expecting that.
At time of recording, it is currently 5:43 p.m. on Sunday, the 4th of January. We have experienced the first one.
I think Celtic will be next.
Hopefully.
It's got to be them next.
Obviously I'm shocked, but I'm not as shocked. I think he was under pressure.
Did you see Hamilton got a big investment? Looks like they're staying alive.
Yeah. Oh, that's good for them. I was wondering, to be fair. I know their game got postponed.
They were really struggling and stuff, and obviously a lot happened with obviously visit owners and stuff, and they were banned for signing players, and it was a bit of a mess. Because I minded them in the Premiership.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's always one of those ones where you're kind of you never want to see teams disappearing. It's never nice. We've seen, Inverness have been fairly close to collapse in the past few years as well.
Hamilton Football Club is delighted to announce that Morley Sports Management Group MSM have officially completed the takeover of 97.5% of the shares in the club.
Obviously, you never want to see a team going bust like that. Speaking
Nah,
from our
especially
perspective,
with small football clubs, you never want to see that. Like
yeah,
it's happened in England as well. A lot of these smaller teams don't get it, don't have the money and resources to stay, unstable. Like Sheffield Wednesday, like they're an absolute mess.
yeah,
Like they're just, it's the owners as well. The people who run the club are just destroying it. And I think we like the likes of City and these big clubs like Man City and Chelsea, they just get a slap in the wrist and they're away. They can afford it. These wee clubs can't afford it. Like City, remember, on like 115 charges, and Man City
yeah,
just get away with it. Like, why is it always big clubs that are getting away with it, but wee clubs don't? I just don't think it's fair.
Looking forward, to the Premiership, the next fixtures are on Tuesday night. It's Livingston have St Mirren at home, and Rangers are taking on Aberdeen at home, who has sacked manager.
yes.
Mhm.
What are
So
we thinking?
I'll start off with Livy v St Mirren. I think this becomes a must-win for St Mirren after recent form. This becomes one that St Mirren fans should be looking at and thinking, we need 3 points. And I think they should be able to do it. I'm not saying it'll be easy for them because
Mhm.
building up that momentum, but I think
Yeah.
it's one of those, it's a must-win game for them. And it could
Yeah.
be, whereas on the other hand, for Livingston, this could be a season-changing game. They go within 1 point of Kilmarnock if they win this.
Yeah.
So I think it becomes really, really important games for both
Mhm.
sides. I do think St Mirren will be the victors, but you never know. They have been struggling lately, and it's just one of those things that if it's not like when things aren't going your way, you can get an absolute shocking result. But I think it is really important. It could totally get St Mirren back on track, or it could give Livy the last bit of hope. I think it's an actually more exciting game than you'd originally think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I think it is. It's almost a must-win for both sides. It draws them both back into it for everything. That'll put St Mirren on 18 points at the moment, Dundee on 22, just ahead of them in ninth. I think that would obviously settles them within a point of Dundee as well. So you're looking at it almost the same, just in two different places. Predictions wise, though, at the moment I can't see Livingston turning it around. I think, like I mentioned earlier, they're unlucky. Form doesn't. I don't think their results relate to their performance, but I can't see St Mirren losing that one. It's probably a bit tougher on a night game as well, but I'm gonna say 2-1 to St Mirren.
Can see that.
Yeah, I'm just going to say probably just go 2-0 St Mirren. Think that Livingston, I just don't know with them anymore. They're just quite not up for it. And I think obviously St Mirren will want to pick their show back up after defeat at the weekend. They'll want to say right. Whereas obviously Livingston, maybe. But nah, I just don't see a way for Livingston.
Yeah, I can't see Livingston coming back in
Yeah.
terms of like getting defeats. I mean they've not won a single game since August. It's not looking good. But yes, we'll move on to the second fixture.
Yeah, so Rangers v Aberdeen, I just can't see Rangers losing this one, to be
Nah.
honest. I think the buzz of the derby when the results they've been getting, Aberdeen's been so poor, drama about the manager, unhappy fans. It would be a bottle job for Rangers to lose this, and I think it would be like, if I was a Rangers fan, right, and we lost this after doing so much work, I would be absolutely furious. I know, obviously, anything can happen anytime, but it's at Ibrox. Aberdeen are just not on it. I don't see any shocks here.
Yeah, I think that Rangers are coming off the back of a derby win, which they did deserve in the second half. And I think Danny Rowe was turning around, and all he said at that press conference after the game, he says, "I'm focused on the next game and hope to get 3 points." Like all he's asking for is wins and 3 points, and I think they'll get that. So I'm going with 2-0 Rangers.
Yeah, I'm going sort of along the same lines as that. I'll give them one more than that though. I'll go 3-0.
Do you know what? I'll say that. I'll go 2-0. Is there any more midweeks?
That is
I
us
think
for
that's only
midweeks.
two.
We would be moving on to Saturday's games.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
She's
Motherwell at home. That's actually a massive game for us. Like, we've got the little festive fiver deal on, which means like all the tickets are fiver. So I feel like it'll get attendance well up at Easter Road.
The way that you guys get your fans involved and stuff like that, I think the opportunities that you give your fans, just never right away from that is amazing.
Yeah, no, I do. I don't think we're the only club in the world that does do it. I think there's a couple clubs in England that do it. I don't know about what other Scottish clubs do it. I'm sure people do it, but I do think it's just a good campaign to just get people to football when like they can't afford to go every week, because football tickets are expensive. Aberdeen at home tickets were like £30, which in theory is extortionate. That's how much. That's like our Class A tickets. So Derby tickets, Celtic and Rangers and Aberdeen are all like £30, which is pricey. Like,
Yeah.
if you're wanting to do that every week, it becomes almost unaffordable to have a season, to not have a season ticket if you want to go consistently every week.
I know, and the problem is with season tickets are just so hard to get as well, especially for Celtic. Like, you're on a massive waiting list for ages.
Yeah.
Do you have one for Hearts, Molly? Were you on a waiting list? Because you have one at the moment, don't you?
Yeah, I've had my season tickets for, I think I've had them mine's for 10 years now or something. So I had mine's has been through Championship, the whole lot. So we're lucky. I think when we got ours, we weren't on a waiting list.
One of my friends who likes Hearts, they were actually saying how they find it easier to get Derby away tickets than they do to get literally like home tickets for a general game, because of your loyalty point thing for away games.
Yeah.
And then it's just so difficult to get home tickets, and then the season ticket wait list is so long.
No, absolutely. No, you're actually quicker finding diamonds than trying to get a Derby Day ticket for us at the moment. They're ridiculously in demand, but understandably why.
Anyway, I know I'm on tangent about tickets, but Hibs Motherwell, 4th and 5th, we could go above them with a win. They could go like a good 5 points ahead of us if they win. It's a big game, especially if Hibs are wanting this push for top 4. A win would be massive, but I can't see it. Motherwell have just been so good. We will need if we want to get a win, we need to come out there glazing. We can't have these 20-minute spells where we are hopeless. Yes, you're going to have 20-minute spells where Motherwell are like totally at you and look like a good side, but you can't have these spells where you're just not defending and looking terrible. Motherwell, a really good footballing side, will profit off of that. And if we treat it the same way we treated Kilmarnock, not killing the game and then letting them attack with poor defending, they will absolutely embarrass us in our own back garden.
Yeah, honestly, I think that Motherwell, I really fancy Motherwell. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And it's bad. I see a 2-1 Motherwell win. I know, obviously, you're at home, you might have the advantage, but you look at Motherwell, I just think they're unstoppable at the minute.
Yeah, I know.
I just think they're so unstoppable, and I just think they'll want to just push on, and I think they will win that game. And obviously the next game is at Dundee Hearts. I think obviously Dundee are picking up a bit under Presley. I'm quite surprised he's not been the first manager sacked, because everybody was going on about, oh, Presley will be sacked, well, it's not happened this season.
Yeah.
Dundee, obviously, after a Derby win, will want to push on a bit, but Hearts at the minute are very consistent. Even though they're not producing the best, they're still, picking up the 3 points, and I think Hearts will win, so I think 2-1 Hearts. Hearts will get through that. And then we've got.
I was going to say, we'll run quick fire on these then, sort of wrapping up. So we'll go top. We'll start on Saturday's games, or in fact, we'll carry on from the Hearts one there. So you're saying 2-1, Heidi?
Yeah.
2-1. I'll go. I'm a bit more confident for that game. I'm going to go 2-0.
I think I'm going to say 2-0 for Hearts as well, to be honest with you. Celtic Dundee.
Yeah, Celtic Dundee United. What are we going on?
God,
Heidi, any thoughts you can go with first and then give us a prediction.
Derby defeat, not winning the last 6 games. Like, it's embarrassing, and I don't see a way back for Nancy. And it's surprising me if he's in that dugout on Saturday. But at the end of the day, if we still plays a back 3 formation, Dundee United, who are off a Derby defeat, they just literally bet us literally a few weeks ago, like not even that long ago, they beat us 2-1 in their own ground. They're probably thinking maybe we can go ahead. It's poor Celtic say, I don't know. But I'm just going to say a 1-1 draw, but I just really don't know. It's so unpredictable with us at the minute. I don't know. Anything could happen.
Yeah, I think I'm going down the same sort of line as you there with 1-1. I don't think it's going to be specifically good for either side. Dundee United, they're not a bad team, sitting 7th, 25 points, sort of joint with Aberdeen in 8th, only 2 points behind Falkirk. But I just, I can't really see it going either team's way on this one. Obviously, both off the back of Derby Day defeats, so I'm going to stick and go 1-1 as well.
I'm going to go for a 0-0, sort of like a scrappy open game, but neither team really just getting the goal over the line.
Yeah. Perfect. On Livingston Kilmarnock, which is our Saturday game, 3:00 kickoff. Both struggling massively. I think this one could be the one where Livingston pull points, and I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Livingston.
Right, I'm just going to go both poor sides. I'm just going to go a 1-1 draw. I generally just, it's quite hard to predict. Obviously, I don't know if Kelly will have a new manager in by then, so I'm just going to say a 1-1 draw.
I think it's going to be a bit of just desperation, not good football, just a bit messy. Again, a scrappy game, but I think it's going to be. I don't think the teams have it to be like a high scoring game, so I don't know who I'm going to back. I'm going to back Livingston to just get 1-0, 3 points in the bag. Not good football. St Mirren v Falkirk. I think this is dependent on Tuesday night for St Mirren, to be honest.
I back Falkirk just now, to be fair. They're a good side. They've got a good go. I've got a lot of good going for them at the moment. Sort of within their squad, like I said, I don't think they're particularly a bad team, and in my opinion, guaranteed within top 6. I'm gonna. It is a tough one. I'm gonna stick 2-2 on that one.
That's literally what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think I'll go 2-2 as well. I think it'll be quite tight, that game.
I think it'll just be lots of goals, pretty competitive, but I do think the St Mirren that come out is going to be dependent on how they get on against Livingston. But I think if they do a job against Livingston, they should have a relatively good performance, even if they don't get all 3 points, because Falkirk's a difficult game.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And then we're on last game of the weekend, which is Aberdeen and Rangers again for the second time within the week. Yes, we are. Well, sorry, I am still going to keep backing Rangers for that one. I reckon that one's going to be.
Yeah, Rangers again. 2-0 Rangers again.
I'm going to go 4-1 Rangers. I don't know. I feel like they're gonna suss them out almost on Tuesday night, and then they're just gonna double down on up at Pittodrie.
That is fair. Well, that has been everything for us to cover. It has been a pleasure.
It's been really good to chat and talk about the weeks and how, everything's folded. So, it's been really, really good to talk on it.
And thanks to everyone that's watching. If you want more football content, we all make it over on TikTok.
Links will be within the description of this as well.
Yeah.
Well, it has been lovely speaking to you, and we will be back again next week for some more predictions, more opinions, and some more games.